Chapter 1. From Thinker to Observer. The Power of Awareness, the foundation of the shift methodology, and the title of Neville Goddard's seminal 1952 book. Everything from here is rooted in the power of your awareness, and this first shift could have been a book on its own. I remember having my mind blown wide open the first time I heard this. Something resonated so deeply within me that I knew immediately I had found truth. And as I have since learned, truth is felt, not understood. Practice embodying this one shift, and it may just hold the key to unlocking your next chapter of life, your next unfolding of consciousness. It's entirely possible this one shift alone will be enough to blow the lid off your awareness like it did to mine. So much that you can put this book down after chapter 1 and pick it up again in a few weeks, months, years when you're ready to continue. So here it is. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of thought. 11 words that might just change your life forever. Are they really your thoughts? Every thought that enters your mind, every thought that you notice, that you become consciously aware of, you might label as my thought. You might also assume the thought is unique to you, that it arises within you, comes from some place called your mind, and is therefore in some way yours, a part of who you are even. An understandable assumption to make, perhaps, but does it align with your experience? When you notice the sound of a dog barking in the distance, the sound waves arrive in your awareness via your ears. You register it as sound, yet you can place its source outside of yourself. You hear a sound, you recognize it as dog barking, you locate its origin as over there, separate from yourself. When you notice a thought arising, however, you are unable to place its source outside of yourself since you don't hear it with your ears or see it with your eyes. It doesn't arrive in your awareness via your 5 senses, which might lead to the assumption, I think it with my mind. This assumption places the thought's source of origin within you, inside of you, a part of you, my thoughts. Your thoughts, or simply thought. Consider this. Do your ears hear the sound of the dog barking into existence, or do they receive the sound from the dog? Does your mind think the thought into existence, or does your mind perhaps also receive the thought? Since you have as much control over which thoughts appear in your mind at any moment, as you do over which dogs you hear barking at any moment, it doesn't seem entirely inconceivable to consider that which you assume is my thought could be just as easily merely thought. By extension, then, the source of thought may not arise from within you at all. Quote, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Nikola Tesla. Everything is energy. Sound is energy. Light is energy. Matter is energy. Thought too is just energy. This initial shift in perspective then makes it far more accessible to consider the idea that you are not your thoughts in the same way you are not the sound of a dog barking. Instead, you are simply the one who observes thought, in the same way that you are simply the one who observes the sound of the dog barking. Mindfulness. Many mindfulness practices help to embody this idea of separating your self-identity from the activity of thought, which then creates the space to consider the idea that you are simply not obliged to identify your own self-image with the content of any thought whatsoever. That's right. As the ever-present observer, you don't have to jump aboard every single thought train that arrives at the platform in the station of your mind. You can let them depart on their way without you, without them taking your awareness away for a ride. Practice is the word here, and this will take practice for sure, because the chances are you, like most of us, have become unconsciously identified with thought for so long that you don't even notice it anymore. You think it is you. So the practice begins by simply noticing the activity of thought without becoming the thought. The practice of remaining as the observer of thought, remembering you are the one who is sat on the platform, the one who observes the thought trains coming and going, and they will continue to come and go, with or without you. I learned from a truly wonderful mindfulness meditation teacher. Thank you, Nada Buhari from Amman, Jordan, whose teachings introduced me to the life-changing power of this one idea. You are the observer of thought. Observe. Simply notice the activity of thought from your perspective as the ever-present observer. Notice the thought patterns, thought trains, thought loops. Notice how easily your awareness gets swept away by them. It's not a problem. You've been doing it for your entire life. It is what it is. Have some fun with it. Simply practice anchoring your awareness right here in the present, the infinite now. This eternal space right here between thoughts. The infinite silence within. There are many methods of anchoring. Find one which works for you and practice it. Paying attention to breathing is a wonderful place to start. The moment you find yourself in the past or the future, you have exited the present and entered the illusory world of the mind. It isn't real. Breathing is real. The body is real. As the ever-present observer of thought, you get to consciously determine which thoughts are accurate, which thoughts are helpful, which thoughts are worthy of your attention and focus, and of course, which thoughts you act upon. Really, this becomes the only practice, awareness of self. Thought loops. What I noticed when I first began to explore this idea is just how ruthlessly repetitive and unoriginal my thought loops really were. Since exploring this deeper with so many of my amazing coaching clients, it has become apparent that there are only really ever two types of thought loop. One, replaying the past. First, the past thought loop, where you replay past experiences over and over again and call them memories. Here's the thing with the stories of your past. No matter how many times you replay them, A, nothing ever changes. B, you learn nothing. C, you feel the same each time. And the real kicker is D, it probably didn't even happen at the time in the same way that you now remember it. The implications of this are manifold. One, the experience itself happened only once, in real time, in the body, in the present. You were, of course, here and now as you experienced it. Two, the experience was then stored as a memory of the past in your subconscious mind. Three, now each time the memory is accessed by you, the ever-present observer, it is accompanied by A, a feeling in the body, and B, a narrative in the mind. Four, it happened once as an experience in the body, interpreted through the five senses, in the present. It was real, that one and only time it actually happened. Five, since then, the only place it has ever existed in the entire universe is as a memory stored within you. Six, you access the memory from time to time in the present by replaying it as a past thought loop. How real is any of it? In the same way that you would not claim to be the situation itself as it happened, neither would you claim to be the memory of the situation right now. You are not your thoughts, you are the observer of thought. You are not your memories, you are the observer of the replays of your memories. So you are the observer of your familiar and repetitive past thought loops. And as the observer, you get to choose which thought loops you invest your awareness into. You get to choose which old stories you continue replaying, which past you continue reliving. Retelling your story or not. I used to assume that this was just me. It is only since coaching hundreds of men and women I've learned that, without exception, we are all retelling our own personal story of me over and over again on repeat. Consider this for just a moment. No matter how many times you retell it, every single time without exception, the story always ends in the same place, here and now. The same place you were before you started telling it. You are not your story. You are the conscious reteller of your story. If then, whether retelling the story or not retelling the story, you find yourself in the same place, what is the purpose of retelling your story over and over? What if you just skip to the end of your old story permanently? Welcome back to the present, the only place you've ever really been and ever will be, the infinite now. Transmuting the past. Now, of course, there's value in replaying the past if you can learn and grow from it, if you pay attention to it as it is replayed. How do you do this? By subtly shifting from fearing the past to facing it and feeling it, and ultimately forgiving it. Having glimpsed the inner world of so many of my clients, I've come to recognize the vital role the past plays in the present, and by extension, the future. With love and grace. This might be triggering, but there's no avoiding this one, so I share it with compassion. The past serves one purpose: to stay with you right here and right now in your body, in the present, stored as a memory until you are ready to face it, feel it, and forgive it. Until that moment, it will continue to reside within you right here and right now as a memory that you feel in the very cells of your body, with an attached narrative in the mind. You will continue to bring it with you into each new day until you are ready to process it, integrate it, release it, face it, feel it, forgive it. 2, creating the future. The second type of thought loop is a future thought loop. All 100% hypothetical and based around either fear of the future or faith in the future. Consider this. The only place the future exists right now is in the world of your mind. Something bad might happen, something good might happen. Both exist only in the world of the mind. Quote, "We have at every moment of our lives the choice before us which of several futures we will have." Neville Goddard. Fear and faith is expanded on later in this book. For now, simply consider that both a fear-based future and a faith-based future require the same amount of energy from you, both require the same amount of focus from you, both require the same amount of awareness from you. As the ever-present observer of thought, begin to notice which future you are thinking about most. A fear-based future is no more real right now than a faith-based future. As always, you get to choose. Subconscious self-talk. As I practiced becoming the observer of thought, I became consciously aware of my old subconscious self-talk, the internal narratives I held about myself would appear when triggered by external events, accompanied by feelings in the body that I had previously labeled as stress or worry. I began to recognize which self-talk narratives in the mind were accompanied by which feelings in the body. From the perspective of the ever-present observer, for the first time, it became possible to observe my own thought and feeling patterns objectively. This is the heart of the shift philosophy. Objective, non-judgmental self-awareness. Simply viewing the activity of your own mind from your true perspective as the ever-present observer. With curiosity, without judgment, from presence, with love. When you view your old subconscious program, then, with curiosity and without judgment, you can see yourself clearly for the first time. Your old self-image, your old story, your very own story of me. Many of my clients share the same reflection when we bring this process to the coaching space. Quote, "It's like I already knew this. I've just never said it out loud. I feel much lighter and clearer now." A client. I've heard this shared hundreds of times and it never gets old. It's such a beautiful, deeply profound reflection. The process of articulating thoughts and feelings into words codifies it from a nebulous subconscious weight you carry everywhere into conscious, present clarity and lightness. My interpretation of what's happening here is simple. Your conscious awareness is being directed for the first time at your subconsciously held thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, old stories, fixed beliefs, looping narratives. This practice allows you to find truly objective clarity of self, the power of awareness. I am. When we are talking about yourself here, what we are really talking about is your old story of me, with which you have become falsely identified, rather than the ever-present observer, the true I am, who you really are. When you realize this, you can also consider that whenever you say I am, you are not describing who you are. You are in fact instructing who you'll become. I am is an instruction to your future self, not a description of your past self. You get to choose. Having been through this realization myself, and with a great many of my coaching clients, I can't express enough how important it is to be kind to yourself throughout this shift. It can be a sobering realization when you begin to see all of your old habitual behavior patterns clearly for the first time. It's like they are so familiar, yet they've somehow been happening without you until now.